Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of our podcast, Is Breakfast Included? Hello. This week on the show is pretty cool. We have a return guest, Terry Glaze. He was one of our first guests back when we started this little endeavor, and he sent me some tracks of his new band, Evel Frehley, which also features Tommy Roberts, Taz Bentley, and Kinley Wolfe. They're great. Very rockin' tunes. Anyway, I asked him to be on the show again. We talk about Evel Frehley. We talk about the songwriting process. We talk about what their plans are for the new year. And we just talk. Terry's a great guy. He loves to talk. He loves to talk about the music he made, and he loves to talk about the bands he loves. It was really fun. I love this guy, and I hope to see this band live soon. Let's check it out.
Okay.
All right, man. Tell everyone who you are.
Hi, this is Terry Glaze from Evel Frehley.
Evel Frehley. Where are you coming from right now, man? Where am I talking to you?
I'm calling you from Bowie, Maryland.
And whereabout is that?
That is about 30 minutes east of Washington, D.C., between Washington, D.C. and Annapolis, south of Baltimore.
Okay. How does a guy from D.C., man, we're here to talk about your band, Evel Frehley. How does a guy from D.C. hook up with three Dallas guys and make what I think is some of the most killer music I've heard in a long time?
Oh, man, thanks so much. So I'm from Dallas-Fort Worth originally, grew up, playing rock and roll there. I ended up moving out of state, but I would always fly back to town to do shows with my friends. And I'd been playing shows with Kinley Wolfe, bass player from Lord Tracy, since the 80s. And probably 2010 or so, we started playing with a drummer named Taz Bentley. And so the three of us had been playing together for over 10 years. And then about 2018, a friend of mine, guitar player Tommy Roberts, who plays lead guitar in Evel Frehley, we thought, man, wouldn't it be fun to just come to town, jam on a couple songs, have some tacos, some Mexican beer, and maybe record something and with no expectations. And so I sent him some songs on our phone, little demos, and we practiced one time, and then we went in the studio and we recorded a couple tracks and we got something, and we were like, well, that was pretty fun. We had nothing to lose, right? The worst thing that could happen was we hang with your friends, you have tacos. It was going to be cool. Well, it was really fun, and it kind of sounded good. So 2019, we thought, well, let's try and do it again. Well, the second time, we practiced for 2 days. And we went in the studio for 3 days, and we recorded. We got 3 more songs. So the plan was 2020. Well, then the world changed and everything got shut down. So we tried to kind of finish the tracks. So I remotely sang here at home and send the tracks to Dallas. And then we did some other things. And we finally finished the tracks and mixed them in April of 2021. Because there was no tour, there's no label, there's no reason to push it. We didn't have anything. There was no calendar. So we had 5 songs, and we thought, man, we should just put these out ourselves because we didn't know anybody. And so we thought, well, we'll figure it out. So we looked at our 5 songs, kind of like our 5 kids, and we picked our least favorite child, and we kind of sacrificed them into the wild, the first song. And we kind of learned how to release a song and how to do it. And then, 3 or 4 months later, number 4, we released it into the wild, and we learned a little bit more. And then probably by the end of last year was about the 3rd song. Earlier this year, we released Last Thing on My Mind and started to build a little bit of momentum. And then we just here this past October put out my favorite song of the 5 is called Budokan. And that same day that song came out, the guys were back in Dallas mixing the next single that is scheduled that we'll release out, after the new year. We've got tracks to just keep on kind of releasing stuff. And hopefully one of these days we'll get to play a show. We've actually never played these songs live before. We kind of put them together, and then we went in the studio. We recorded them, probably second or third take, and then that was it. So I can't wait to see what happens when we actually get to jam together in the same room.
Yeah. Was it a collective writing thing, or did you write the bare bones of it and everyone just added something to it?
Pretty much, it was the first 5 songs was me and Tommy.
Uh-huh.
Tommy would send riffs. Tommy came up with the idea for the title, "Get Your Budokan On." I never would have wrote the song without that. I was actually walking in Tokyo. I had just did a pilgrimage walking through the park to get to the Budokan Theater. My favorite band is Cheap Trick. That's everybody probably knows that, but that's probably the reason, my biggest reason why I decided to try and play music. I mean, before that it was Kiss and Van Halen, but I'm not going to be Evel Frehley, and I'm certainly not going to be that other guy. So anyway, Cheap Trick, I saw him in middle school. I was like, I could maybe do that. So I was walking in Tokyo. I'm coming back. I stood outside the Budokan and just kind of soaked it in because my first record I ever bought with my own money was Live at Budokan. When I was in middle school, I walked down to Eckerd Drugs and bought the vinyl, a big moment for me. So anyway, I'm walking back to the hotel from the Budokan, and I text Tommy Roberts. He's all the way back in Texas.
Uh-huh.
And I just said, man, I just had this big moment, for me. And he just texts me back. He says, "Get your Budokan on." And I was like, huh. And by the time I got back to the hotel, I had wrote the song.
That sounds like a classic Tommy Roberts response, by the way.
Yes. And I had the song, and then the final killer to the story is I write the song, we record the song. I'm so inspired. It's so my tribute to my favorite band. I hear Jack Douglas doing an interview on YouTube, and he says, actually, those tracks were recorded in Osaka. And I'm like, my whole rock and roll religion was a lie this whole time. I based everything on Budokan. But anyway, it's a good title.
Live at Budokan was like standard issue around when you turn 16. It just appears, right?
Oh my gosh,
man! Let's talk a little bit more about Budokan. When I heard it, when you sent me that track, I mean, just from when it goes into the song, I hear the homage to Cheap Trick. It's when it gets to the chorus, because you expect this huge chorus, and it's just straight homage to Cheap Trick.
Take it to a place from a long time ago. It's in a little town called Tokyo. Put me on the path, got me on the road, taught me how to rock, taught me how to roll. Get your Budokan on. Get your Budokan on. Don't stop now, I know we can do it. Come on, girl, there ain't nothing to it.
It's hard. It's hard. When you step in it, sometimes it just won't come off your shoe.
You wear it on your sleeve.
Oh my gosh, why not? I'm super proud. And it was funny. We were cutting the vocals, and Taz was like, "Man, I don't know if I want to sing that. It's so sugary. It's so sweet." And we go and we cut the track, and we get done. He looks at me, and goes, "Man, I gotta admit, pretty freaking hooky."
Man, it fucking rocks, dude. It fucking rocks. A few months back, Tommy sent me this other song, you guys, The Last Thing on My Mind.
Oh, I love that song. Yeah.
2 seconds into the song, that bend that he's doing, is that him or you?
That's Tommy. It's like some wild animal being stabbed with like a prod. I love that. We were going for I was going for a darker thing, lyric wise, everything, when you hear all that. But that song is I'm hoping that we eventually put out a regular release. That's just a killer opener.
I mean,
I would love to come out, drop the mic, and just kick into that song. It's just so great, man.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like I said, 2 seconds into it, you hear that riff, and I just stopped, and I was like, that song's not gonna get any better than that.
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
and it took me
Yes.
about a week to actually listen to the whole song. And I thought, man, this is so good. So
Oh man, thanks so much.
it is,
We're
man.
just so glad to get it out there for people to kind of get to check out what we've been working on.
Take me down to the river where all is forgiven. I'm looking for your sister. Let it all be forgiven. I know you're here somewhere, fighting my instinct. And now to the underworld with a pocket full of money. And I want you to know you are the last thing on my mind.
And so you guys plan on playing live, correct?
Well, I hope so. I was talking to some dude the other day. I said, maybe I can come back and play like a little convenience liquor store in Denton, or a taco stand,
I know the place you're
And,
talking about.
Yes, I know. That's the one Tommy told me about. Like,
The one in the
I wanna
corner.
play that place. Yeah, I want to play that place right in front of where all the alcohol is, and I want to play there. And somebody said, hey, they could pay you in, Mexican beer and tacos. And I said, we're getting paid?
So the four of you all come from you've been around for a while. You've all done stuff
Yeah,
on the
I'm
national
very
level, on the
old.
regional level,
Yeah.
and I mean it seems like you guys can pull off a small tour. Is that in the works, or is this just?
God, I wish. Would that be great? The only problem is we're so spoiled. We have such great, home bases at home, and it'd be really tough to go back in the van and eat ramen again.
Would it though?
But for the right tour, you got to think we have to at least listen to the conversation.
Right. Where did the name come from? Evel Frehley. I mean, you can listen. You can just say it and go, well, it's Evel Frehley.
Yes.
That's what it is. But you tell
That's
me.
what it is. So I have never been one for coming up with good band names. Every band I've ever been in, Pantera has a cool name, but I mean, Lord Tracy, that's crazy. And some of the other things I've done, we were joking and me and
Considering
Tommy-
what Lord Tracy used to be called.
Yes. So it was so hard. We got a record deal, go into the studio. We're still called Tracy Lords. And they come in with the attorneys like, you guys can't use this. You got to exchange it. We were like, we tried forever trying to figure out a name. And it's just hard. It's easy for me to write stupid songs, but man, a name. And ultimately my brother-in-law, Steve Ott, goes, why don't you just flip it around? Call it Lord Tracy. And I was like, that is so genius. So Steve Ott, he was the one.
You ever heard of the band Brad?
I love Brad.
So you heard how they got their name?
No,
They were-
but I love
they-
that Stones band. And that
Stones
singer was
band, yeah.
so great.
They were originally called Shame,
Okay,
and then so they were going to put
I
the
think
record.
one of the records called that, isn't it?
Yeah, the record. The
Yeah,
first
yeah,
is it. And they were called Shame, and the name was taken. So they reached out to the guy, and he wouldn't, sell them the
Right.
name or whatever. But his name was Brad, so they called him. They called the band Brad.
So great. I remember I have hard copies of those, at least the first two. That I loved those records.
Oh
The
man,
way
that
guy's
first one,
vocal-
man.
Yes, the way the vocals went with those pianos and everything.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful songs.
So back to Evel Frehley.
So we're just coming up with names, coming up with ideas, and we had one name and we weren't allowed to use it. And two of the joke names was Ace Frehley, not a joke, but Ace Frehley, which you can't call your band Ace Frehley, even though that would be a great name for a band. And the other one was Evel Knievel. And so we chopped them in half. It was either going to be Ace Knievel or Evel Frehley, and we just flipped a coin, drew a number out of a hat, and it ended on Evel Frehley. But it's fun. My Ace is my man. That's my man. I love him.
Yeah.
And Evel Knievel is like the coolest thing ever. So we tried to combine two of our favorite, coolest things ever.
Yeah. Isn't that sad? Like you and I grew up with Evel Knievel, jumping over
Oh,
buses, the
Yeah.
Caesar's Palace jump.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like that now. Now they have Jackass.
Yeah. There is a great Evel Knievel museum in Kansas that I went to last year that I would highly recommend. It's super cool.
Yeah. They just reissued the Evel Knievel the wind up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
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 I see those all.
You see guys on Instagram doing jumps with those things. There's a great one on YouTube where Evel Knievel jumps over Kiss. You should see that one. That one's really good. Somebody puts all the little Kiss character figures, action figures, and the Evel Knievel jumps over them, and then they interview Ace. It's really good.
So how long have you known Tommy
I'm not
Roberts?
good at selling records.
Hey, it's all right, man. I'm good at. I like to talk.
Yes. Well, I mean, so I have been accused. Tommy and I have been friends for over 10 years, but we weren't friends. We had bumped into each other. Tommy used to come see Lord Tracy back when we were playing at the basement. He'd tell me stories. And over 10 or 15 years ago, he and I went in the studio and cut a goofy song with two other guys. And the band was a one-day band. We were called the Dad-O-Matics. And all of us were dads. And so we had a song, and it was not a good song. And we recorded it. And Tommy, we figured out that we both loved Telecasters, AC30s, and Echoplexes. And so ever since then, me and him have been friends. And then I'm in LA. I'm on the East Coast. He's in Nashville. But we always stayed in touch. And then over the last 10 years, we kept saying, we ought to do something. We ought to do something. And slowly and slowly and slowly. And finally, 2018, we finally, got that little taste of it. But, my secret, if I've ever had any success, the secret to me is I'm usually always the worst musician in every band I'm in. And so if you can surround yourself with people like Kinley Wolfe and Taz Bentley and Tommy Roberts, you got a chance, right? So, I mean, those guys are so good. And they take these little songs, little things I come up with, and they turn them into real tunes. And I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
Yeah. But you're a really good, a very accomplished songwriter. So when you send them these little things, these little ideas, do you have an idea? I know you're not sending them the crappy shit that you come up with.
No. I write a lot of terrible songs, and I bury them deep down like Ricky Bobby and never speak of them again, ever. So when I was younger, I could always hear everything. I could hear all the song in my head, and I would try and explain it to the other musicians. Here's how your part goes. Here's how your part goes. Well, instinctively, guys don't want to hear that. They want to try everything but that. They usually would come back to the thing, but they want to try it out. Well, now as I've gotten older, I don't tell them anything. Like these demos were just one guitar and a vocal, not even maybe a click track to give you a tempo. But I didn't tell anybody this is a halftime, double time. I let everybody try out because these guys are so great. Mm-hmm. They might come up with something I never would have thought of. So I don't want to limit their imagination. When you play with Kinley or Taz or Tommy, it's like 1 + 1 = 3.
Yeah,
right?
You don't want to taint the water.
Well, I could play everything myself.
Yeah.
But those guys come up with something that I never would have thought of, and they always make it better. And they bring something to the package. And that's why it's the greatest being in a band. I mean, I do stuff by myself, but my favorite thing is to play in a band with other musicians. Inspiration, and it's just the best.
Were they all your first call?
The only call. I mean,
you didn't have a list in case Kinley said, "Nah, I'm not into it."
Well, the point was, me and Tommy were like, we wanted to try this, and he was like, "Well, if we could get Kinley and Taz, that's the best rhythm section in Dallas." I was like, "Well, yeah," and thank goodness they said yes. So there was no it's just, "Hey, y'all want to get together, have tacos, and go jam?" And everybody was like, "Yeah." So I bought a plane ticket, flew into town. We got a little studio, we cut it, and it was so cool.
Where'd you record it at?
The first session, was it Nomad? Is that a studio?
Yeah, Nomad.
I think that was called. It was with Alex Gerst over
Okay.
there, and I can't remember what it's called.
Well,
And
it
then-
used to be Nomad. It's I want to say Empire.
Yeah. It was with Alex.
Yeah.
And he's a great engineer, man. We got some great tones.
Yeah.
It was our first time to kind of feel each other out with Tommy. Then in 2019, we went over to Valve with Casey D'Iorio.
Yeah.
And Casey also, we recorded there, and we've recorded there since. And Casey mixed all the songs too. So he's kind of like the fifth Beatle too.
Yeah. I was going to ask, like, Casey's an amazing guitar player, amazing
Yes, he
songwriter.
is.
Did he just kind of give, hey, you should try this or anything?
He has been, like I said, such a fabulous someone to bounce ideas off of, and he's been so supportive of me when I'm doing vocals and helping me get the best I can get out of it. All of those tracks, the way we usually cut the songs are, the drums and the bass and my guitar are usually live. So we cut. I usually don't even have headphones on. I set right up by the kick drum. We just cut the tracks live. And then usually I go back and cut the vocals. And then Tommy goes back and adds all the spice and all the flavor and everything. But Casey's a really talented guy. And he's been really helpful for me, particularly, and to give the finished product, the sound of the project. I'm really pleased with the way it's going so far.
Yeah. There's a funny story about Casey years ago. I won't tell you how long ago, but you and I are about the same age. When I moved to Denton, strictly for the music scene.
Yeah.
And I went to a place called Rick's there on Fry Street at the corner, and Casey's band was playing. And it was really the first time I saw like a local band playing at a local club. Because all the bands that had played at the Basement and DCL, they all had this huge, you remember, you tried to bring the arena into the club. Everybody had their thing. But I went to Rick's and just saw this band playing. They were a 3-piece. And I went back to work the next week, and all I could talk about, he was like a guitar hero to me, this guy that I just saw play, because he's so good.
Yeah.
And I just kept telling the guy next to me, he's like, I saw this band and they were this, and this guy played and he sounded like Eric Johnson, but almost better than Eric Johnson. And he was laughing at me. And 3 days of me talking to it, he goes, what was the band called? And I told him, he goes, that's my fucking roommate, dude.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah. So I've always been a big fan of Casey and his playing, and he's just a great guy too.
I mean, so many great musicians came out of that area.
I know, right?
Oh my gosh.
Let me ask you something, man. The songs that you sent me, they're just straight up rockers, and guys like me, there's a huge market for that. Do you think that style of music is coming back from these younger bands like Dirty Honey and Greta Van Fleet and bands like that?
That would be amazing. Of all of those bands, my favorite one is Rival Sons.
Oh man, they're not
same
even a
thing.
new band, but they're amazing, aren't they?
Yes, they got a brand new song out. I was going to say, Dave Cobb does all their records, and every single record is just amazing. But Dave Cobb does Sturgill and does, that Brandy Carlisle and freaking Chris Stapleton. I mean, that guy's
Jason
just
Isbell and
that record, that Brandy Carlisle record make you cry.
yeah, well,
just so amazing. So amazing.
man. I love Rival Sons. Like I said, they're not a new band. They're finally getting their due. But and I think that's the name of the new single, "The Good Must Die."
It is.
Yeah.
Or Nobody Wants to Die. Or
Nobody
something
wants
like
to die, something like that. But
Yeah.
so it has the
I
word
love
"die" in it.
Yeah, that singer is it's not fair. When he sings like that, I just want to give up. I mean, I think that guy's amazing.
You should look up. I think I put it on my social media, a video of him and Scott Holiday, the guitar player, doing Olivia Newton-John's "Hopelessly Devoted to You."
Oh, how great is that?
And man, the guy hits those high notes like
I don't know how
they're
he does
nothing.
that. Yeah. Yes.
Who's
Back in the old days trying to do Judas Priest?
Yeah. So they're your favorite band right now.
Well, of those, you said Dirty Honey, Greta Van Fleet, that rock tone. I love that. I love that band.
Do you think rock is making a comeback, man?
God, I hope so. I don't think it ever went anywhere. There's so much great music out right now. It's just hard to get through the weeds and find it. I mean, my favorite record today is the latest Marcus King.
Oh man.
Got in Nashville. The record sounds like old ZZ Top. It's incredible sounding. And the guy's voice is so passionate. But yeah, I mean, I still buy a couple records a week. I mean, I want artists to be able to survive and keep being an artist so we can enjoy their work, their music, their art, whatever, you know. I still buy CDs. I just bought a shirt today from a local, the local Cheap Trick tribute band in Dallas is called Chapstick. And I just got their t-shirt in the mail today. I can't wait. Oh, what a great name.
Can we expect to hear any Cheap Trick in your set list?
Oh my gosh. I wish. I would do it every night. Yeah. I love Cheap Trick. I think I probably said that earlier. Yeah.
No, you haven't mentioned it at all yet.
Man. Oh my God. I probably don't want to meet them though. You don't want to meet your heroes, you know.
I met Rick Nielsen, Dallas Guitar Show. I was probably about 16. Yeah. Wasn't a good day for him. It was a terrible day for me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But hey, what are you going to do, right? You went to Budokan, you did this pilgrimage. Do you ever think about what it would have been like to play there?
Oh my gosh. How cool. I heard it's really not that big inside.
It's not. And it's really, you know, like I'll say this, and I don't want to come off as a douche. We did a show there with Duran Duran. Mm-hmm. Of course, guys like us, man, we had the posters on the wall, live at Budokan, Asia, you know, all those albums. And then you're in this place. And to me, it was a big deal. Like it was to me, it was like going to First Avenue.
Yeah.
And then one of the locals told me, he's like, yeah, they have concerts here, but it was built for sumo wrestling. So it sounds terrible in here.
Yeah, I bet.
But
I would still, yep.
I mean, you know, like you said, it's a pilgrimage, you know, like
for me,
you know,
yeah. So the reason I got to go to Japan, I've started playing bars in Texas when I was 15. Back then, drinking age was 18. It was the Wild West. It was crazy. So I've been doing this a while, but my music never allowed me to go to Japan or to Europe or Moscow. But years later, I've gotten to go because my wife is cooler than me.
I've heard this.
Oh, there's no doubt. So yeah. But
anyone who rubs elbows with Brian May is much cooler than us, Terry.
Yes. I got to meet him through my wife, and he did not want to talk to me. All he wanted to do was talk to her about, you know, freaking whatever they talk about with physics, what physics and all that stuff is. Just hilarious.
Right on, man. Well, where can they find you on social media?
So I don't know. Facebook, Instagram, Terry Glaze.
Does Evel Frehley have an Instagram?
They do. And we're not very good at it yet. We need young people. We need some new blood. Shake it up, you know?
Is that a call for help?
Absolutely. And you know, the pay is we're all on an equal level. You make the same amount as all of us. Be amazing, wouldn't it?
Tacos and Mexican beer.
Yeah, get in on the ground floor. This would be like Apple stock before it goes out. You know, stay private right now. We're like a badger. But we're fierce, you know.
Well, let me ask you. You guys are all established. We talked about touring. You said everybody's kind of comfortable in their own lives. Man, I think these songs have the I think they'll hit, man, if they hit the right ears. If that were to happen,
that would be a dream come true. That would be a dream come true. I would drop everything in a heartbeat. I would abandon my family and just leave to go play those songs.
Dude, and I say that I'm not just kissing your ass. If the songs weren't good, I would have told you like, yeah, we're not going to talk. Yeah, no, that they're really good, and I think they're worth abandoning your family, Terry.
Man, thank you, thank you.
I was hoping we'd get Tommy on here, but I know he's a little shy.
But he's probably practicing guitar.
Probably,
he's working on the riffs to get us to the next level.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Well, man, so they can find you, Evel Frehley.
EvelFrehley.com. We have a webpage. We don't have any information on there except cool t-shirts, cool swag. Evel Frehley has cool stuff.
All right,
but there
man.
is hardly there. You might find a song on there, but like I said, we're learning and we're trying to do it. But we are a mom and pop, little company here. We are doing everything ourselves. We would love to be part of corporate music. We just haven't found the right person to take advantage of us yet.
Well, let's hope you do, man.
Oh, yeah, it's my dream to get, taken advantage of.
Will these songs be all released individually, or will you do something collectively next year, like an actual album or vinyl?
So when we got the songs finished, the thought was, do we want to put out an EP? But we were like, look, the way the world's looking right now, we're probably not going to be anything happening for a while. So we decided, like I said, to kind of drip them out over time. Also, to have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And so, we've got the next single just finished and it'll come out after the year. But the possibility is we're looking at doing our own bootleg CDs that will probably not be for sale. They will you'll have to know someone and it'll be like one of those kind of things. So we're seriously thinking about doing that. We've already got 4 more. We're real close to being able to have a proper record. So if that happens, of course, we'd like to do a real record. But in the meantime, we're just trying to keep moving forward and stay productive. And I didn't want to drop 5 songs in the forest and nobody hear it. And next week it's old news and we don't have anything to talk about.
Yeah.
So that's been kind of why we've done this.
And it's actually gone back to that way instead of putting out, you get these indie bands that'll put out a whole album, but it's kind of got back to the days of the traveling rock and roll show where it's just singles. Yeah. Everybody just played a sing, we're going to release a single,
Well, it's only been this way because I live, 3-hour flight away. And it was just a way that we could make music and have something to look forward to. None of this is, we do our jobs, we save all our money, and we invest it back into this so we can make this art that we love.
Yeah.
So if anything that comes from it is just bonus. I've been doing, as well as Evel Frehley, I've been collecting songs over the last couple of years. When all the tours got shut down and all the great musicians got stuck at home, I tried to do something positive with it and started reaching out to some of my most favorite musicians all over the world to record, remotely on some of my songs. And I've been collecting songs, and I've got music enough to release for several years coming out. I've just been kind of hanging on to it because you're hopeful that you'll have a reason to release it one of these days and an opportunity to go play it live and support it.
Yeah.
That 100% the goal. 100% next year is to see Evel Frehley play in some live shows starting in Texas and then move out from there. But it's got to start with one. And if we could just play that liquor store, I would be so jazzed.
Just that one show stop.
Yeah. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. I don't really know what I'm talking about, but Tommy described it, and I was like, I'm in. I want to play that. That's the one I want to play. Like a punk rock little one-off 7-Eleven liquor store.
It's literally a liquor store. They let bands set up in there and play. And people come.
That's me. I want to play there. You know what he'd be even better? Lip sync. Because I don't really want to carry gear. If we just brought a boombox and a couple GoPros, that would be pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Actually, backlines. I'll play. I just don't want to carry gear.
You're the singer, man.
They have people that do that, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Well, man, your songs are great. I'm not kissing your ass. Like I said, I
Man,
wouldn't talk
thanks,
to you.
buddy.
They're great. We've talked before. I've always respected you as a songwriter. I'm glad that we're friends now.
Yeah.
But keep us updated on this stuff, man.
Man, thanks so much for your time. And, love your show and best of luck in the future. And I'm really looking forward to, seeing you down the road next time you come to town. I will be there. We got to make time. Hopefully you won't get trapped at the border this next time.
Yeah, I think we were supposed to have crab cakes, right?
Yes.
Well, man,
crab cakes on me if you got the time.
right on. So you've done this before, but I have to ask you again, if breakfast was included, what would you have?
If breakfast was included, what would I have? And that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be breakfast food.
No.
I would probably go with the breakfast. There was this hotel in Moscow when I went with my wife. We stayed at this hotel right across from the KGB building, and I can't remember what the hotel was, but it was super swank. And they were like, "Be careful, because if you're going to be bugged, and everyone's going to hear you, and so assume that anything you say is going to be recorded." So I just walk around with no clothes on, with the window open, waving at the KGB building, because whatever. So every morning I would go down to breakfast, and they'd have the best pastries and the best caviar and best everything, and they knew your name, and everything was the greatest breakfast I've ever had. And so I would probably choose that breakfast, or I would go and have. I would also, the day after, heavy partying, I would probably go for like English breakfast, full greasy, because that will soak that up. I like that. Or I would probably go with like huevos rancheros.
Right on.
I might do that. So it's going to be one of those three.
If not
Either
all.
the Moscow restaurant, or English breakfast, or huevos rancheros.
Right on, man. Well, thanks for your time, Terry.
Thanks, Bernie.
And hope to talk to you soon, brother.
Hey, see you on down the road, man.
All right. Bye.
Cheers.
Right on. Terry Glaze. Check out Evel Frehley at Evel Frehley on Instagram. I think it's evelfrehley.com. Check out their music. They've got some really cool merch. Anyway, keep an eye on that website and that Instagram, so when they release this album, you'll be ready to pick it up. All right, guys, I am done. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next week.